Yeah.
Two. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 19 of the FilmBrony Podcast. I'm created by, of course, Soren The FilmBrony, and under new management ever since episode 5, I am, of course, Nick Canino. And, of course, as always, I'm not here alone. I have a guest with me who started this whole podcast, so would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, it's me, Soren The FilmBrony. As Nick told you, I'm the one who started this. I'm the one who started this whole thing, and then migrated to this channel for reasons I don't want to get into.
Right.
Basically, what we do is we talk about the movies, both the past, current, and upcoming, and just share thoughts on it.
Exactly. And if you're wondering where Christian Frates is, he should be coming. It's just I think because of scheduling conflicts, he might be arriving a bit late, but he should be coming on the podcast. It's on. Oh, oh boy, one of those connections. But anyway, we're gonna start. That's why we thought of start. I'm sorry. That's why we thought of doing the show. So he will get here in a little bit. It's just he might be arriving a bit late. Just so you guys know. Anyway, I think we hinted this on the last podcast. And before we talk about the Blu-rays that Soren has, we gotta talk about this. Because this has been on my mind ever since like the whole debacle on the internet thing in 2020, and ever since like one of my friends like has been harassed by some scumbags who can't even learn to respect opinions.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say this right now. I'm gonna try my best to keep my professional level, to keep civil and professional. But I might have a few outbursts because there are some things that really disgusted me to no end. Well, we gotta talk about the Nicholas Lee situation, because he told me some of the things that really disgusted me to no end. Like he told me like what some people had told him, like about just because of his opinion on like Ghostbusters 2016, The Last Jedi, and Captain Marvel. Let me find this for a second. I know I had okay. So basically after he Soren, can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. The audio didn't really improve.
Oh boy.
Anyways, carry on.
Sorry about this, folks. Okay, so basically, some of these people were coming after Nicholas Lee because he was like, he praised Ghostbusters just because he liked Ghostbusters, and then some of the people were calling him like an SJW. But it gets even worse, because when he praised Captain Marvel, there were a lot of people that said, "Oh well, if you like Captain Marvel, then you're not a true Marvel fan."
Question, what the fuck does being an SJW have to do with Captain Marvel?
And being a fan of Ghostbusters. That makes no fucking sense. But the worst of them all was that when he praised The Last Jedi as you and I did, I think it's one of the best Star Wars films that I've ever seen. Guess what they did next? They attacked him thinking that he's not a true Star Wars fan. Oh my god. I don't know what the world has like come to at this point. And another reason why I wanted to do this segment is because, oh boy, there have been so many people like in the past year like going after one another just because they like a certain movie that like they didn't. Guys, film is subjective. You may not like what some people say, but you gotta at least respect opinions.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like politics or religion. It's a fucking movie, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, really. Doesn't make any sense. It's just a fucking movie. What else is there to say? It's just... I'm literally at a loss for words. I'm literally at a loss for words for these people, for some toxic people who just can't respect opinions, and they think too politically to the point where oh well, if you don't like this, then you're an asshole. Piss off. And yeah, really, really, Nick Lee, yeah. I never saw Cuties. I still refuse to see that film, but these people went way too far, thinking that someone is a pedophile just because they liked it. I know I'm gonna get thumbs down for saying it, but and look, I still think the director contradicted herself by sexualizing like 11-year-old girls, but and I am not in any circumstances defending pedophilia. It's wrong. It is 100% wrong. But you guys need to realize that it's only a movie. Yes, it's just...
Yeah, try telling that to Miss Mantle, Tony. I mean, look at his tweet saying that he literally says that if you like cuties, you deserve to be beaten at the street and have a grenade shot at your ass.
And that is the reason why I can't stand that fucker. Doesn't he realize that people have opinions, for crying out loud? And
he thinks that just because he dislikes The Last Jedi and Last of Us Part 2, that he's higher above those who like it.
Which is
are you kidding me?
Like, really, that's just stroking your ego. You're just exploiting your ego. I think we might have to start this podcast over, because because I did there's something wrong with the audio. Guys, I'm really sorry. We might have to restart it. We might have to restart the podcast.
No, what Nicholas Lee says to keep going.
Okay. Alright, but yeah. Seriously, people have opinions. You might not like what they say, and it's okay to disagree, but you cannot be an asshole by basically going after them. By going after their opinions. That makes you look worse than the person you're attacking. Just saying. And another thing too that really like another thing too that really pissed me off. Another thing too that really pissed me off, and good thing you mentioned Miss Asshole Pony, or as I like to call him, Miss Asshole Pony, because he's one of those idiots that like thinks that well I'm right and you're wrong. He's one of those I'm right and you're wrong type of scumbags. This is the reason why I hate this guy so much, especially since when he got his Twitter accounts just terminated for like, oh my god, for like threatening to like, threatening to like, for like if they like cuties, then they're threatening to like knock their teeth out. He literally thinks that people who like his Twitter account got suspended because of pedophiles, even though it was clearly his fault for making that threat. He has no excuse.
Yeah, not to condone the pedophile, but beating them up at the street is not any better than pedophilia.
No, and like I said, I pedophilia is wrong, and we all know that. I, for one, hate pedophilia the most. But saying you're gonna threaten somebody by knocking their teeth out, that makes you look worse, and that makes you look like a bigger sociopath than that makes you even a bigger sociopath and a bigger egotistical prick than the person you're threatening. Just saying. And I know I've gone on long for this, but it's just like there were some points in it that I just got to get off my chest, because this is the reason why we wanted to do this podcast. And there's a lot more I could cover too for a few more minutes. So just like when I'm not even making this up, Nick Lee told me this in the chat in the chat in our conversation we had. He was being harassed by this one guy named I'm not going to mention this guy, but let's just say he was being harassed by this one idiot, by this one sociopathic idiot who kept following him, and he also threatened to call the cops on Nick Lee. I can't make this shit up. I literally cannot make this up. What is wrong with these people nowadays? Now they're just like, oh well, let's cancel that person. Let's go after that person. Guys, stop. Stop. In conclusion, I have two things to say. Number one, learn to respect people's opinions. Yes, you might not like what they say, and it's okay to disagree with them, but do not be a huge asshole asshole to them by basically attacking them. And number 2, to the people harassing Nicholas Lee, leave him alone. He has an opinion. And it's just, like I said, it's okay to disagree with Nick Lee because of everything he said, because of some things he said, but it's never okay to be an asshole towards him or anybody else that has a different opinion than you. So why is respecting opinions more important? Well, because it gets you talking more to that person. And like I said, it's okay to disagree, but you can't disrespect their opinions like that. I'm done. I'm done talking about this. Over. Oh my god. Nick, I'm so sorry you had to deal with this. And even worse, one of these people even tried to like get him to like delete one of his reviews because apparently they didn't like what he said about some sort of piece of media that he likes. Oh my god. In conclusion, learn to respect people's opinions. Like I said, it's okay. Okay. So apparently one of the guys tried to get him to delete his channel, even though that's never going to happen because people have opinions, you know. I feel like I've gone far enough, and I feel like I'm preaching like too much of it, but it's just like you guys get the point. And like I said, it's okay to disagree, but do not be an asshole towards someone just because they disagree on a movie that you either love or they hate or you hate that they love. It's not okay. Please stop this. Stop disrespecting people's opinions. It is not okay. Makes you more of a jerk than the person that you're attacking. And also stop harassing Nicholas Lee. Just stop. All right, I'm done. Let's just get on with the Blu-rays.
All right, so as for my Blu-ray Showcase, yeah, we'll do the audio. Anyways, my first Blu-ray I have here is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Great movie.
Next, I have this Alfred Hitchcock collection. I'm not going to go over the movies in here.
Okay.
Next is Frisbee Bear.
I love that movie. One of the best from 2017. One of the most overlooked films of that year.
French with Kids.
Nice.
The Gentleman.
Nice. Good movie.
Into the Wild.
Sean Penn's best movie.
All four Oceans movies.
Nice.
Office Space with the rare Deadpool slipcover.
Nice.
The Royal Tenenbaums.
Nice. One of Wes Anderson's best.
V for Vendetta, Watchmen, and Constantine.
Nice.
And last but not least, Zombieland.
Great. I love those movies.
Anyways, that's it for all of my Blu-rays, and now we're gonna get to some movie reviews.
All right, so we got a crap ton of movie reviews that Soren and I have. So why don't we? So without further ado, let's begin.
All right, first up is the latest DC film, The Suicide Squad.
I loved this movie.
The hype is 110% real. This movie is a freaking masterpiece. James Gunn's sequel, spiritual successor to the polarizing 2016 movie, blows that movie out of the water, as his direction previously seen in his Guardians movies is completely spectacular, as is colorful, brutal, and truly feels like a cinematic comic book.
Exactly.
The characters are extremely believable and well acted as well. From Idris Elba as the asshole with the heart of gold blood to John Cena as Peacemaker, who in Cena's words is this douchey Captain America who doesn't care what bad things he has to do in the name of peace. To Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher 2, who are extremely likable. To King Shark, who who's just the best freaking character in the movie. The action, stunt work, and special effects are top notch. And the soundtrack isn't quite as good as the Guardians movies, but still a banger. So overall, it seems like DC is stepping up their game this year. First with the Snyder Cut and now with this movie. And after they made the top 2 best films of the year so far, I'm happy to see what they do next. 10 out of 10.
As for me, I really love this movie. You know, with a lot of sequels this summer, including one that Soren and I are going to mention in a little bit. With most of the sequels this summer, like sucking and like either being underwhelming or just downright bad. There's this and A Quiet Place Part 2 are one of those examples where you can have. Where every once in a while you get a sequel that's either like better than the first or just as good as the first. And The Suicide Squad, without a doubt, is easily even better than the first film. Easily, the acting is fantastic. The soundtrack is great. The cinematography is fantastic. The visual effects are great. The action sequences are a lot of fun to watch. The story was fantastic. It's very well written. It's very well directed. It's very well paced, and overall, it was an overall a great movie. My only issue I did have with the film is that I did feel like there are some of the jokes that there are like 1 or 2 jokes that did fall a bit like flat, and I did wish the villain could have been more like well developed. But otherwise, I love this movie. I think it's one of the best films. I think it's one of the best comic book films of the year. It's so far my favorite of the year so far, given that we still got Shang-Chi, Eternals, directed by Chloe Zhao, and Spider-Man No Way Home coming out later this year. So who knows? Who knows where this one will stand by the end of the year? But overall, 9.5 out of 10 or an A. One of the best films I've seen this summer, and on my list is one of the best movies I've seen this year. I love this movie. Nice.
Spirited Away. Next movie review is the latest A24 film.
Give me a second. Nice, Eddie. Spirited Away is a classic. Soren?
Anyways, my next movie review is David Ralloway's latest The Green Knight.
Oh,
this was such a masterpiece.
Yes.
Dave Patel's delivers a standout performance as a knight into a hard destiny involving the mysterious Tiles character. And the directing throughout is phenomenal, with striking costumes and production design, grabbing cinematography, and a haunting musical score. So if you're a fan of art house films and fantasy, this is the perfect combination for you, and easily one of the best of the year. 10 out of 10.
I absolutely love this movie. I'm in total agreement with Soren on this one. This was my most anticipated film of the summer, and boy, was this a a wonderful experience from start to finish. I absolutely loved The Green Knight. The story was fantastic, and how they covered the themes of morality, courage, and personal responsibility was so well handled here. The directing by David Lowery was fantastic. You could see the vision he's trying to go for, and how he directs some of the stuff in it was just phenomenal. The writing was fantastic. Since the writing was fantastic, the acting was terrific. Dev Patel gives out one of, if not, excuse me. Dev Patel gives out one of, if not, my favorite performance of his career. He is so good in this movie. You also get wonderful performances by Alicia Vikander and Joel Edgerton and Barry Keoghan. And also the actor that played the Green Knight in the film. Wow. What a performance. This is one of the best performances I've seen this year. And really, this is one of the best acted movies of the year, too. I should also mention. Let me look this up really quick, because I keep forgetting some of the actors' names, that, especially the one that plays like the Green Knight. Damn it, my computer's so small today. There we go. Ralph Ineson plays the Green Knight. He is terrific in this movie. Terrific. And I loved the Ghost Story. I know some people didn't, but I really love that movie. I love The Old Man and the Gun, but this might be my favorite film that David Lowery has done. The visuals are spectacular. The production values and costume design are fantastic, since it feels like you're back in the medieval times. The musical score is one of the most haunting and breathtaking musical scores I've heard this entire year. The cinematography is beautiful, beautifully shot. The editing was terrific. The pacing was fantastic. Yes, it's slow burn, but it needed to be that way to fit the tone and atmosphere, and that's what worked about the slow burn pace. And some people were expecting like Lord of the Rings out of the Green Knight. Well, guess what? It's really more of a character study, unlike Dev Patel's character, and the personal responsibility, the courage, and the morality he faces as he goes on this journey to see the Green Knight, as he goes on this journey to confront the Green Knight. And the ending is absolutely wonderful. This is one of the best endings I've seen put to film this entire year. I was blown away by the last 15 minutes of the film. Oh, and before we continue, Nicholas Lee had this question for me. Nick, which opinion do you disagree with me the most on? I say Boyhood. Yes, Boyhood is not the best movie of 2014, and I don't think it's the best film that Richard Linklater has done, but I really love this movie. And I loved its portrayal of families growing up for 12 years, and the story really had me emotionally invested. So I know some people found this movie overrated, and that's fine. But to me, Boyhood was one of the best movies from 2014 for me. Anyway, to conclude this, The Green Knight is one of the best movies I've seen this year. You really owe it to yourself to see it, and without a doubt, it's getting my 10 out of 10 or an A+. So yeah, that's my review of The Green Knight. All right. Go see it.
So
it's one of the
our
best
next movie review is the late.
Go ahead.
So our next movie review is Nick Cage's latest Pig. This movie was a tour de force. With Nick Cage's best performance since leaving Las Vegas, great direction and production value, and great writings that deal with the themes of loss, love, and isolation. You're in one of the biggest surprises for the year, and one of the best of the year so far. 10 out of 10.
I really love. Give me a second. There we go. All right. So, I also saw Pig. It's easily one of the best movies I've seen this year. Nicolas Cage, in my opinion, gives out one of his best. This is his best performance since leaving Las Vegas. I'm really going that far. The story was fantastic. You may think that this movie you may think that this movie involving like Nick Cage finding his pig is some sort of John Wick movie, but it's not. It's really more of a journey of Nicolas Cage's character finding his pig. We follow him through the journey. And to me, that's what made the story work for me. And like The Green Knight, it's also a slow burn pace, but it needed to be that way to fit the realism and the tone for the film, and that's what works about it. The writing was fantastic since the dialogue since it features fantastic dialogue and characters that feel fleshed out and real. The directing was fantastic. The directing was fantastic. You could see the vision he was trying to go for with this, and the way he directs this movie, it's just phenomenal. And the musical score is fantastic. The cinematography was fantastic. And at times it's also quirky and funny. Like there were times where there was some quirky humor in it that really caught me off guard and had me laughing a bit. The editing was fantastic, and without spoiling what happens. Just when I thought that the movie was going to go the same direction, it takes a different turn to the point where I did not expect it to. Like there's this twist at the end. I'm not going to give away what happens, but let's just say what happens within the last 10 minutes hit me, especially with that twist they pulled. It really hit me. And I felt the emotion for Nicolas Cage's character. And that's what works so well. I really, and to me that was one of the best endings, one of the best and most powerful endings I've seen put to film this entire year. Overall, this is a wonderful film. It's one of the best movies I've seen this year, and Nicolas Cage gives out his best performance since leaving Las Vegas, and it's absolutely one of the most powerful, riveting, and mesmerizing films I've seen this entire year. And without a doubt, it's getting a 10 out of 10 or an A+. Well done.
For the next review I have film Horror War. This movie has gotten a lot of polarizing responses from critics and audiences alike. Some call it a fun as hell sci-fi blockbuster in the likes of Independence Day, and some hate it for being trite and underwhelming. I am in the former. Guys, I think this might be the ultimate summer blockbuster of 2021.
The Tomorrow War.
I'm not saying it's the best film of the summer, but as for entertainment value, this movie has everything. A fantastic all-star cast, spectacular action sequences and special effects, and a story that's not only thrilling, but also surprisingly heartfelt and thought-provoking. So far, this might be the most underrated film of the year so far. I'm actually disappointed that through an underwhelming summer movie season, I didn't see it sooner.
in the 90s.
Soren,
sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, your audio's like fucked up.
Yeah, I know. After I do this review, why don't you take me out and kick me back in, see what happens to the audio.
Okay.
Anyways,
let me just sorry. Can you hear me? Soren?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Anyway, you were saying?
As I was saying, fuck, the audio's still fucked up.
Oh boy.
Why don't you kick yourself out and put yourself back in the stream? Maybe that'll help.
Alright. Be right back.
Anyways, like I was saying, I'm actually disappointed that through an underwhelming summer movie season, I didn't see this sooner. So stop watching this video, get on Amazon Prime, and prepare yourselves for one of the best sci-fi action films of recent memory. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Can you hear me?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, the audio's not improved, but we'll work with it. Oh, and Network 98, he says, what if they made a GTA movie and made it PG-13? They actually did this movie, and that's actually our next movie review. And that is Free Guy. This was fun as hell.
Yeah, this was such a fun movie. I was very surprised with how much fun I had with this movie, because going into Free Guy, I had low expectations for the film. The trailers didn't impress me that much. Even though I do like Ryan Reynolds, I think he's a very talented actor, and he's very funny. And watching the final product of the film, this was so much better than I thought it was. I really liked this movie a lot.
Well, the script could use some work, as there are some plot points I felt were iffy, and they got kind of uninteresting in the second act. John Murphy really takes advantage of the premise, with the spectacular visuals in action, underclass references to various movies and video games, and the acting is really good, especially Ryan Reynolds, who's great in anything he's in. It's easy to see why this is such a surprise hit at the box office, so I'd highly recommend this one. Yeah, 10.
I'm pretty much in agreement with Soren here. This was a surprisingly funny, entertaining movie with Ryan Reynolds giving out a very good performance, and he's very good in this movie. But it's let me look this up really quick. Okay. Come on. All right, there we go. But it's Jodie Comer that stole the show for me. She was fantastic. She was so good in this movie. She stole every scene in the whole film. And the fact that she played two characters in the film, one that's in the video game and one in the real world, she did a fantastic job. While I agree with Soren that the script could have used some more work, since there were some plot points that felt a bit rushed, and there were a couple pacing issues in the second act, and there were, I would estimate, like 15% of the jokes fell just a bit flat for me. Everything else was very good, from its acting to 85% of the jokes that landed. It's good story, good directing, good visual effects, good action sequences, good editing, good soundtrack, and good cinematography. This is easily one of the biggest surprises of the year, and I give this film an 8 out of 10 or B+. I also want to mention this one independent film that, since Soren mentioned the Tomorrow War, I want to talk about this independent film that What's my opinion on Groger? Nick, I can't say. Sorry. But what I will say is this next independent film that you guys really need to check out, since I think it's one of the best films of the year and one of the most original films of the year too. It's been getting a lot of praise ever since it premiered at Sundance last January, where it won the Waldo Salt Screenwriting Award, and there were some cinephiles out there that really praised this movie, and I wanted to see it myself, and my God, this is one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's called 9 Days. 9 Days falls in...
9 Days is a movie that I really wanted to see ever since Nick reviewed it on his Facebook, but unfortunately I couldn't find the movie anywhere online. I will eventually see it, but chances are I'm not going to review it in a future episode because unless I have anything more to say. But carry on.
Okay, so in 9 Days we follow a man played by Winston Duke, who interviews 5 unborn souls to determine which one can be given life on Earth. And let me tell you, people have been complaining that there's not enough originality in films anymore. Guys, you're really missing out on this one. This is an original movie that really swept me off my feet from start to finish. The acting was phenomenal. Winston Duke gives out one of the best performances I've seen this year. His performance felt natural and raw that at times I forgot he was even playing a character. That's how wonderful his performance was. And the movie feels so real too that at times I forgot I was even watching a movie because of how well acted and natural the film felt. And speaking of the actors, speaking of a well-acted cast, you also got Zazie Beetz, Benedict Wong, Tony Hale, and Bill Skarsgård. They all deliver fantastic performances in this movie too. The soundtrack was fantastic. The cinematography is beautiful. This is one of the best looking movies I've seen this year. Also, Edson Oda was the writer and director of this movie. Not only does he deliver one of the best directed movies I've seen this year, since you could not only see the vision he was trying to go for, but with the way he directs the movie. But the script he wrote for the film was absolutely fantastic, since this movie features characters that feel real and fleshed out. And best of all, the dialogue in this film is absolutely riveting from start to finish. And like The Green Knight and... I can't believe I'm saying this again. I'm saying this again. But like The Green Knight and Pig, yes, like I said before, it is a slow burn pace, but it needed to be that way to fit the atmosphere of the film, and it worked so well here in this one. And without giving away what happens, the ending to 9 Days is without a doubt one of the best endings I've seen put to film this entire year. I absolutely love the way it ended. And what also really impressed me with 9 Days and why I think this is one of the best movies I've seen this year is because of how it handles its subjects of like the meaning of life and what it means to be human. How they handle those subjects in the film was very, very well done, especially with the way they explored that with like Winston Duke's character. I'm not going to give away what happens, but once you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. I absolutely love 9 Days. It's one of the best movies I've seen in 2021, and without a doubt, it's also getting a 10 out of 10 or an A+. Well done, Edson Oda. Well done.
Alright, so my next movie review is Netflix and Sony's latest Vivo. And this movie was okay. Positives include a vibrant animation, emotional, albeit cliche story, Lin-Manuel Miranda as the titular character, and some of the songs. Negatives include the somewhat irritating girl he hooks up with, those Girl Scouts who are completely pointless and giving bad vibes to the greenhouse, yet a mediocre Wow House episode, and the rest of the song. Not the best, but decent enough. 6 out of 10.
Nice.
Next up is Stillwater.
I also saw that movie.
This is the latest by Spotlight director Tom McCarthy, and it boasts a pretty neat story arc from Matt Damon, competent direction, and great acting, especially the main lead. There's only one issue I have with it, and unfortunately it's a major one. Why the hell did this movie have to be 2.5 hours long?
That was also one of my biggest problems with the film too. And another problem I also had with the film was the way the film was written. Like they focused way too much on the subplot involving Matt Damon's relationship with this reporter and her daughter, rather than focusing on like the story of Matt Damon's character trying to get Abigail Breslin's character out of prison for a crime she didn't commit. Like, focus more on that story, not this subplot that feels not only shoehorned in but just wasn't needed.
Oh yeah, this was a major disappointment from this director. If they just removed like 40 minutes off the runtime, then I would have looked at this more fondly. 6 out of 10.
I'm going a bit higher than you. I did like this movie overall. It is well directed. I did find the story interesting throughout. The acting is great, especially from Matt Damon, who's absolutely fantastic here in this movie. Abigail Breslin is great too. It's the musical score, the soundtrack is great too, as well as the cinematography. But the pacing, the runtime, and the script really could use some more work. It's just throw out that subplot involving the reporter and her daughter, and involving Matt Damon's relationship with the daughter and the mother. Just that subplot wasn't needed, especially when it's like more longer than the main plot of the film. Like throw that out. Yeah, overall, I like this movie. Stillwater I still found Stillwater to be a good movie, but compared to Tom McCarthy's last movie, which won Best Picture, Spotlight, and which was one of the best movies I saw from the last decade, it is a disappointment to see like this be just good but just not great. I really wish it could have been a lot better. That's why I give it a 7 out of 10. Good movie, but not great.
Next up is the pretty average biopic called Joe Bell.
I also saw that movie too.
It does its job as its message about bullying and accepting gay people, but the pacing is kind of slow, marking mark was kind of hard to get attached to, and I felt that they handled senior revelations pretty awkwardly. Really reminded me of how American Sniper ended.
Oh my god, yeah.
So not necessarily bad, but not great either. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 for me as well. I disagree with you on like Mark Wahlberg. He did give out a good performance, but I did feel the script made him into like a stereotypic, into like a cliched like redneck character that we've seen in other films before. And another problem with the film is that the editing is a mess, and the film was very poorly paced. And when they do show the bullying in the film, yeah, it is terrifying. But the problem is the bullies are nothing but a bunch of cartoon cliched characters. That's all they are. And that really got under my skin so much. And the ending was very rushed too. It wasn't as bad as the ending to American Sniper, as Soren said, but I just wish they could have handled the ending a lot better. But I still found the movie to be decent, nevertheless. It's very well acted, especially from like not only just Mark Wahlberg, but also the kid who played Jaden Bell, Ree Miller. He was fantastic in this movie. This is one of the best breakthrough performances I've seen from a young actor this year. And I did find the story to be sort of interesting throughout, despite how convoluted it was. The soundtrack is good. It's very well shot, and there are some gut wrenching moments in it, but it's just like, I just wish the film could have been a lot better. I still found it decent. But honestly, I just wish it could have been a lot better. Like I said, I also give it a 6 out of 10. Like I said, it's also a 6 out of 10 for me. I just wish it could have been a lot better. Decent movie, but like, and also one more thing too. Why not have the story like spend more time on like the relationship between like Mark Wahlberg's character and Reed Miller's character? I wish they could. Why not spend more time on that? Because like the relationship here in the film felt really rushed, and that was one of the biggest problems I had with the film, was because of how rushed it was, how rushed it felt. I meant, yeah, overall 6 out of 10. Decent movie, but it could have been a lot better.
You know, it's funny that we started this podcast by talking about respecting people's opinions. Because of next movie review.
Oh God.
Disney's Jungle Cruise.
Oh boy, this is probably. I know. I actually like this movie.
I'm sorry, guys, but this was not a good movie at all. It tries too damn hard to be another Pirates of the Caribbean movie without being a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, except without any of the charm and half the fun that made those movies enjoyable. Positives first, Emily Blunt and The Rock are pretty fun together. The production values are neat, and there are a couple fun acting set pieces throughout. As for the negatives, oh boy. First of all, whose idea was it to turn a somewhat grounded and simple Disneyland ride and turn into this complicated treasure hunting story? Second, the rest of the actors are portrayed as complete cartoon characters, from Paul Giamatti, who's as most over the top since Amazing Spider-Man 2, to the German bad guys taken straight out of the World War II era Looney Tunes. Not to mention the effects look like they were rejected by the filmmakers that seen about the crystal skull. Plus, why did this movie have to be over 2 hours long?
That was one of my biggest complaints with the film, I will admit.
There are sequences where it just drags on with either sometimes cheesy humor, dragging out plot points, fascinating female empowerment message over our heads, and the climax that just took forever, as well as the ending where I wanted to face palm myself, but where's the face palm? And I'm gonna go into spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, I'd suggest you mute this podcast for like a minute.
I'll give the signal like when they should like unmute like this.
Okay. So basically during the climax, Emily Blunt was able to grab this one piece of bud since the tree was wilting, and since The Rock sacrificed himself so that she could live, she decided to give the bud to him so that he could live as well. I thought that was pretty thought-provoking. But then last minute, this movie just slapped itself in the face by showing that the tree had one last bud anyway.
I will admit, that was stupid.
That's like in the ending of Hotel Transylvania 2, where it's like, my grandson may be human, but I'll still love him as he is. By the way, he's a vampire now, so it doesn't matter anyways. Lol. So yeah, spoilers over. You can give the signal. So yeah, I did not like this movie. I didn't despise it since there is some fun to be had, but it's pretty much ruined by mostly idiotic characters, an overly complicated story, corny humor, and effects that look like daily from Anaconda. Skip this one. Watch either the African Queen or any of the Paris films instead. 4 out of 10.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually funny. That was actually funny the way you described that film. Well, I thought it was decent. The acting was decent. I did like the directing, and the musical score and cinematography were very good, and the film has really good production values and costume design as well, and I did find the story to be interesting throughout. But where the movie falters is that the film really, I did wish the writing could have been a lot better, and it also suffers through a lot of pacing issues here and there. And why did the film need to be like 132 minutes long? That's way too long. Like, especially when it's filled with so many things that feel like shoehorned in. Like there was no Oh, okay, 127 minutes. Never mind. And I do agree with Soren that the climax was really anticlimactic. I originally gave this a 7 out of 10 in my original thoughts, but I'm lowering it down to a 6 out of 10. I still found it decent, and the film is fun. The film is fun. Don't get me wrong, but I do kind of agree that it could have been a lot better. I still thought it was decent. It was surprisingly decent. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, but it is overall a 6 out of 10 film. I actually found this movie to be fun and decent. That's all it is. Yeah, but it could have been a lot better. Anyway.
Damn, I forgot to unmute myself. Anyways, next up is Teen Titans Go to Space Jam. It exists. 4 out of 10. Next up is Snake Eyes, or as I like to call it, Nothing Happens, the Motion Picture. I'm not kidding about it either. I guess this movie tries to be an origin story for the titular G.I. Joe character.
Oh, God, yeah. Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. I'm not even kidding when I say this. This was one of the most boring movies I've ever had to sit through this entire year.
Yeah, basically if you read the extras on the film's Wikipedia page, you've experienced this fucking movie.
Yeah, really.
Throughout the movie, I was wondering when the setup would end and the actual movie would begin. And right when the movie was going to begin, it just stopped. Like that. As if we're going to get a sequel to this thing.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen because I highly doubt that will happen because of how much this film bombed at the box office.
Not that the directing helps at all. Well,
no.
When Henry Golding does his things, this movie suffers from a severe lack of action, and whatever action there is ruined by a tremendous amount of shaky cam and cuts to hide the stunt work. I'm talking like taking 3 back.
Yeah, I hate when movies do this. I hate when some action movies do this, where they're like too much on shaky cam and stuff, and hyper editing that feels so forced, like come on.
I'm not surprised this movie bombed.
Me neither.
Because this was one of the most unnecessary and uneventful prequels I've ever seen. Just watch G.I. Joe Retaliation if you want to get your G.I. Joe. 3 out of 10.
Nicholas Lee, to answer your question, we're reviewing Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. As for my thoughts on the film, I'll say this: the acting is decent, especially from Henry Golding, who's easily the best thing in the film. The musical score is very good, and the film has really good production values. The film has really good production design too. But this movie is fucking boring. This is literally one of the most boring films I've ever had to sit through this entire year. Almost nothing happens throughout the entire film. And even when some things does happen, yes, and even when some things do happen, it just stops. It just stops. The action is terrible since they rely too much on shaky cam and hyperactive editing, like quick cut edits that really annoyed the shit out of me. The pacing is so sluggish as hell. This was a 2-hour movie, and it felt like it was going on for 3 hours. 3 hours. That's how long it felt. It felt like it was going. Another problem with this movie is that the ending is also very, very sequel bait. Like, it's hyping up for the sequel, which will likely never happen because of the fact that it bombed at the box office, which I'm not surprised that it did. It's also poorly directed. The writing sucks. The characters feel underdeveloped, and at the end of the day, it's just nothing more than a waste of time. This movie was one of the most unnecessary films I've seen this year. One of the most unnecessary films I've seen this year, and one of the most boring films I've ever had to sit through this entire year. 3 out of 10 or a D+. This movie sucks.
Anyways, our next movie review is...
Oh, God.
It doesn't get better, does it?
Nope.
M. Night Shyamalan's Way is old. This movie has a pretty neat premise.
Mm-hmm.
A family goes to a remote beast where they suddenly start to rapidly grow older. However, the execution completely derails this premise.
It does.
The acting and dialogue between them are completely idiotic. The screenplay is completely bonkers and not in a good way. It tries to shock the audience with its constant plot twists, more out of nowhere and stupid than scary. Only enough to one of the dumbest twist endings I've ever seen. So yeah, this is some nice worst films since The Last Airbender, and one of the most disappointing films of the year. 3 out of 10.
This is also one of the most disappointing films I've seen this year. M. Night, what happened? You were starting out you were making a comeback a few years ago with The Visit and Split. And Glass to some extent. But then this came out. What happened, man? The only praises I can give the film is that the acting is good. I know a lot of people hated the acting in the film. I thought the acting was actually pretty decent, including Thomas McKenzie, Gail Garcia Bernal, Alex Wolff, and Embev Devitt's giving out good performances. The musical score is intriguing. The musical score is haunting and intriguing, and the cinematography is great. It's very well shot. But this is where we get to one of the biggest problems with the film. The story is all over the place. And not only that, the script is one of the worst I've ever seen. I've ever seen and heard in the film this entire year. How did M. Night think it was a good idea having to write the child dialogue that no child would even say in real life? And it doesn't help that he also makes a cameo appearance in the film. Spoilers, but I don't care. But like I said before, M. Night, you may be a talented filmmaker, but you're not Alfred Hitchcock. Nor are you the next Steven Spielberg. Just saying. It's poorly directed. The editing is a mess. It's very poorly paced, and not only did the ending And not only is the ending terrible, but it also has one of the worst plot twists I've ever seen put to film this entire year. I knew, since it was going to be an M. Night Shyamalan film, he was going to throw a plot twist in it, but this plot twist, I gotta spoil this plot twist, because this plot twist made no sense. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to mute this. If you have not seen the old, you might want to mute this, but otherwise, here we go. So this plot twist, so this whole thing with this, like, beach and the people rapidly aging, I can't even make this up. This whole thing was nothing but a social experiment for these scientists to have the guests test out this like medicine for where the guests age rapidly for 1 day. I'm not even making this up. First of all, oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so if this was meant to be a social experiment for these scientists to have the guests, like, try out this medicine that makes them age rapidly for 1 day, then why did we see earlier in the film a woman getting pregnant and having a baby only for it to die minutes later? And why did we see another character suffering through a tumor? And before you tell me in the comments, I know this was based on the graphic novel called Sandcastles, and I did some research on this before preparing myself for this podcast. I never read the graphic novel it was based on, but I heard it was more ambiguous than what the movie did. And the movie tries to answer the questions and stuff, and especially with its plot twist. But here's the problem: it raises even more questions than just answers. That's what bothered me about that plot twist. Not only was it stupid, but it didn't make any goddamn sense. That's my signal. Yeah, overall. Also, to answer that other question, Eddie, worse than his 2006 and 2013 films, I do think it's worse than Lady in the Water, but I don't think it's as bad as The Happening or The Last Airbender or After Earth. I'm still here. I'm still here, Eddie. I don't think it's as bad as The Happening, After Earth, or The Last Airbender, but I do think it's worse than The Village, and I do think it's worse than Lady in the Water. I would rather watch Lady in the Water than sit through this again. Yeah, overall, this is one of M. Night Shyamalan's worst movies, and it's not just one of the most disappointing films of the year, but it's on my list as one of the worst films of the summer. I know there are some people out there, including Nicholas Lee, in the comments that like this movie, and that's totally alright. I just wish I was on the same boat. And for me, I also give it a 3 out of 10 or a D+. But at least Old isn't as bad compared to this next piece of shit movie that Soren and I are going to talk about.
Yeah. Warner Brothers Animation. Yet again this year, you were disappointing us. I mean, at least you know Tom and Jerry, but that's not saying much. Space Jam 2, A New Legacy.
Space Jam, A New Legacy.
So the first Space Jam I thought was good, but not great. No masterpiece, but a fun little time capsule of the 1990s.
It's a fun movie. The first one was such a fun movie. This sequel is a piece of shit.
Which makes me wonder why makes me think that we wanted the sequel now?
Yeah, really.
I will admit, for the first half of this movie, it was just bad. Not horrible, but just bad. The story was super cliched, with his father wanting his son to go in the film direction, only for him to want another job. The acting was pretty bad, especially from LeBron James.
Oh, he's terrible. He is absolutely terrible in this movie. And you know what the sad thing is? When one of the jokes in the film, when one of the most ironic jokes in the film is that, when one of the most ironic dialogues that was in the film saying that he can't act, yeah, that says a lot.
The CG effects look like PS3 graphics.
Yeah, I hated the CGI effects in this movie. They were crap.
And you know how I said that Blu-ray was pretty funny with all the references? This movie is the complete opposite.
It is the complete opposite of that. Like there are not only a bunch of Warner Brothers, like you get a lot of Warner Brothers references in the film, like a lot of references, like to other Warner Brothers properties, including some of the ones that I don't think are going to be very appropriate to kids, like especially with it and A Clockwork Orange, like what kid is gonna understand that?
If this movie kept this level of bad throughout the whole movie, I wouldn't like it, but it would have been kind of a guilty pleasure. Once we get to the actual game, however, that was when this movie turns into an absolute disaster.
Oh, it is. It is an absolute disaster, especially with that one scene. You know, I gotta talk about this. Chuck Jones, my all-time favorite animator, hated how Porky Pig was portrayed in the first Space Jam, and while I do disagree that, because I do find the first Space Jam to be a good but not great movie, I can only imagine how he would have felt if he was alive today and he saw that scene where Porky Pig is rapping.
And I thought commentary Steve Harmon's was cringeworthy.
I still think that's worse. That's worse. But this is almost as bad. Almost.
So yeah, plot points that don't make a lick of sense. Effects that are even worse than before. Jokes that are just cringeworthy, and fan service / plagiarism from the first Space Jam that seem more like middle fingers to fans than to winks. And I thought Fast and Furious 9 was a big middle finger to franchise fans.
This is even worse! This is even a bigger middle finger!
What happened to Warner Animation Group? They started with the awesome...
What happened to you guys? You made the Lego Movie, one of the best animated films from the last decade. What happened?
Yeah, and also the underappreciated shorts. But then they got bad with small parts, worse with Scoob, and now abysmal with commentary and distance fast. If you like this movie, that's fine.
That's totally alright.
Just don't talk to us about it. As for the rest of you, avoid this fan fiction commercial for Warner Brothers as far as you can. 2 out of 10.
I hated this movie. You know what, Nicholas Lee, I have to be honest. I would rather watch The Forever Purge than this again. I have to be honest. I think Space Jam: A New Legacy is a bit worse. I know they're two different movies, but I gotta be honest. And somehow it managed to be worse than another horror film I saw this year, The Unholy. I don't know how that's possible, but it is for me. It's not just one of the worst films of the year. It's one of the worst sequels I've ever seen. It's not Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard or Boss Baby Family Business bad, but holy shit, this was really, really bad. I only found a couple of redeeming things in it. Don Cheadle is really the only good thing in the film. He's the only actor that actually gives out a decent performance. He looked like he was having fun, and I actually liked him in the film. I love the 2D animation they showed in the film, and the voice acting I thought was really good, especially with Zendaya voicing Lola Bunny. She did a very good job voicing her. And I will admit, I did laugh twice. One involving the Rick and Morty reference that was actually pretty funny. Although it's not going to be. Although, like I said before, it feels too. Although, like I said before, I don't think kids are going to get that. And there was another joke that did make me laugh involving Sylvester saying, "Look who's back, Michael Jordan," only for it to be Michael B. Jordan. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, this movie was terrible. It is one of the worst movies I've seen this year. All the jokes, I would say like 95% of the jokes. Okay, 90% of the jokes fall flat. Okay, hold on. 93% of the jokes fall flat. The story is cliched as hell. The script is terrible. It's so poorly written. It's poorly directed. The CGI effects, dear Lord, they look like something you see out of a PS4 game. That's how bad the CGI effects were in the film. The acting is terrible. LeBron James. And thank you, Nick Lee, for mentioning this earlier. LeBron James. I get that it was hard for you and the others to make a movie. But that is no excuse for you to say that the film is that the people who hated Space Jam: A New Legacy are racist. That's not right. The reason why this movie sucked is because it's poorly done, and it's filled with so many references that feel like a product placement to Warner Brothers streaming service HBO Max. That's why it sucked. If a movie fails, then there's a good reason for that. And also, like I said early on the last podcast, please stop throwing in that it's just for kids excuse. Please, I'm sick and tired of that excuse. Just because it's made for kids does not mean that critics and or audiences could be less harsh on it. And like I said before, if a movie fails, if a kid's movie fails, whether it's live action or animated, then there's a good reason for that. And this is the good reason why this failed, because of it being nothing more than a product placement for HBO Max, and the fact that the story is cliched and redundant. I hated this movie. It's one of the worst films I've seen this entire year, and it easily gets a 2 out of 10 or a D. 2 out of 10.
Well, that's it for all our movie reviews. And before we conclude this podcast, we have a couple of lists to go over.
Yeah.
First up, the top 20 films of 2014. As for honorable mentions, I have Godzilla, Ida, Locke, Still Alice, Theory of Everything, Force Majeure, Interstellar, and Foxcatcher.
I'm just gonna do the. It's been a while since I've done this list, but I'm only gonna do like top 15 best. So I'm only gonna do like the best films of the year. I'm not gonna do any honorable mentions.
I understand. Anyways, number 20 is Wild Tale. Number 19, Enemy. Number 18, The Imitation Game. Number 17, Snowpiercer. Number 16, Under the Skin. Number 15, John Wick. Number 14, Boyhood. Number 13, The Raid 3. Number 12, Captain America, Winter Soldier. Number 11, X-Men Days of Future Past. Number 10, Gone Girl. Number 9, Edge of Tomorrow. Number 8, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Number 7, Grand Budapest Hotel. Number 6, Nightcrawler. Number 5, How to Train Your Dragon 2. Number 4, the Lego Movie. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 2, Birdman. And number 1, Whiplash.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and do my top 20. Number 20, X-Men Days of Future Past. Number 19, Edge of Tomorrow. Number 18... Oh god, this is a hard list for... Oh yeah, number 18 is A Most Violent Year. Number 17, Snowpiercer. Number 16 is Love is Strange. Number 15, crap, what was the... You know what, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do a top 15 instead. Number 15, X-Men Days of Future Past. Number 14, Edge of Tomorrow. Number 13, The Most Violent Year. Number 12, Snowpiercer. Number 11, The Imitation Game. Number 10, Boyhood. Number 9, Interstellar. Number 8, Nightcrawler. Number 7, Gone Girl. Number 6... Oh god, what was number 6? It's difficult. It's difficult for me to, like, remember. Oh, wait, now I got it. Number 6, sorry, Soren. Selma. Number 5, The Lego Movie, the best animated film of the year for me. Number 14. Oh, yeah, and How to Train Your Dragon 2 was on the list, too. I forgot to mention that. Shoot. I'm a dumbass sometimes, I will admit. Number 4, The Grand Budapest Hotel. Number 3, Whiplash. Number 2, Birdman. And my number 1 favorite film of 2014, Foxcatcher.
Now, before I get to my My Little Pony list, I just want to give a brief apology to Magpie Pony, who I'm sure is the prequel dude. I do apologize for flipping her off in the last episode. Obviously, I meant Miss Apple Pony.
Very sorry about that, Magpie Pony. He mispronounced your name, so sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of a dumbass sometimes. Anyways, onto the My Little Pony Season 4 ranking. Now, I thought this was the best season of the show so far.
Wait a minute. And also Eddie wanted me to highlight this, so let me just highlight this really quick. Eddie told me this, and please pray for him. Please have him in your prayers, because his aunt his nana passed away, and he's going to his nana's funeral Saturday. So my prayers and condolences to you and your family, Eddie. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm very sorry.
So as I was saying, I thought season 4 was the best season of the show I've seen. Well, despite a couple bad episodes, which I'll look at too. Anyways, number 26, Some Pony to Watch for Me.
I didn't think it was all that bad. I mean, it's not a good episode, but I don't think it's all that bad.
Number 25, The Equestria Games.
That's my least favorite episode of the season.
Number 24, Twilight Time.
Twilight Time is alright.
Number 23 is Tradia. Number 22, Three's a Crowd. Number 21, Rainbow Falls. Number 20, Pinky Apple Pie. Number 19, Simple Ways. Number 18, Flight to the Finish. Number 17, Billy Vanilli. Number 16, Princess Twilight Sparkle Part 2. Number 15, Princess Twilight Sparkle Part 1. Number 14, Castlevania. Number 13, Power Pony. Number 12, From Home to Sweetie Pelts. Number 11, Rarity Takes Manhattan. Number 10, Darren Don't. Number 9, Bat. Number 8, Testing 1, 2, 3. Number 7, Leap of Faith. Number 6, Inspiration Manifestation. Number 5, Multiply. Number 4, Easy Being Breezy. Number 3, Pinky Pride. Number 2, Twilight Kingdom Part 1. And number 1, Twilight Kingdom Part 2.
Well, obviously, Twilight's my least favorite, without a doubt, is Equestria Games. And as for my favorite episode, I have the same pick, and they're both a tie, by the way. They're both tied, by the way. Twilight's Kingdom Parts 1 and 2, without a doubt. The best episode. Honestly, I consider it to be the best finale of the show, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So one more time, Equestria Games is my least favorite of Season 4, and Twilight's Kingdom Parts 1 and 2 is my favorite of Season 4, without a doubt, with Pinky Pride coming in at a very close second. So, that's it for today's podcast. I promised you guys, I promised that Christian would be coming on here, but I got a message that he had to help his dad, so we had to start the podcast without him. So, Christian, if you're watching this, we love you, man, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next episode when you get some free time. Thank you guys very much for joining this podcast. Again, I'm sorry this was a bit a blip. I'm sorry about the beginning being a bit like flimsy. It's sometimes hard to do things without like Christian or like Soren involved. But thank you all for watching today's podcast. Be sure to subscribe to Christian Frates and my friend Soren The FilmBrony. Their links are in the description below. Give them the love they absolutely deserve, because they're great YouTubers and they are great friends to talk to. And next month we're gonna be talking about like the best and worst films. We're gonna be talking about like the 5 best and worst movies that Soren and I saw this summer, and last year I reviewed my all-time favorite film, Goodfellas, for my birthday, and now that my birthday's coming up Monday, September 20th, I will be bringing back one of my favorite topics to talk about. I'm going to be doing a classic movie review on another film that I consider to be one of my all-time favorites. So get ready for that, because I'm bringing it back and I cannot wait to talk about it. You'll know what I'm not going to talk about what the movie is, but you'll see what it is on the next podcast. But
And thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Be sure to subscribe to all 3 of us, and screw your Nickelodeon for screwing over anyone free.
Yeah, really. But yeah, until we meet again next time for episode 20 in the middle of September. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and stay safe. And until next time, peace out, guys. See you soon. And stay safe. Bye bye for now.